Some serial killers have a specific hunting ground. They usually choose their victims from the same city, the same neighborhood. But what if there's a serial killer who doesn't follow any of these rules? What if there's someone who sees all of America as his playground, hiding a murder plot in every state? Today, we'll tell you about a mind-boggling serial killer. He's Israel Keyes. This story will reveal the most horrific truths hidden behind an ordinary life. A mysterious childhood and the road to loneliness. Israel Keyes was born in 1978, the second of 10 children in a religious family. However, his family made a decision that would forever shape his life. When Israel was just 5 years old, they left their life in Utah behind and moved to a remote Washington state cabin with no electricity or running water. This isolation was Keyes' first steps. The family joined white supremacist groups like the Ark and the Christian Israel Covenant Church. This profoundly impacted Keyes' life. As a child, he had no qualms about torturing animals, setting fires in the woods, and shooting neighbors' houses with a BB gun. When his actions were discovered, he was ostracized and became increasingly withdrawn. From that early age, Israel would say, "I knew I was doing things no one would consider normal." These early signs foreshadowed the horrific crimes he would later commit. His cruelty to animals also extended to humans. One of the most gruesome incidents was when he hung a cat from a tree and shot it with a gun in front of his family's friends. This further isolated him from society. Israel learned to hide and mask his antisocial behavior. By the age of 16, he had become a skilled carpenter. He worked during the day and, at night, wrote about his sins, like lust, for his girlfriend in a diary. This double life was a rehearsal for his future crimes. During this period, his mother began to notice some disturbing symptoms in her son. Disbelief and a new turning point. Towards the end of his teens, Keyes began to question his Christian faith. Despite previously making strenuous efforts to please his family, he declared himself an atheist. His family kicked him out of the house for this blasphemy and told his younger siblings never to have contact with him again. This incident caused a radical change in Israel's life. The emptiness he felt within him led him to turn to Satanism, and he began to plot ritualistic murders. In the summer of 1997 or 1998, he attacked a young girl with a knife near a river in Oregon and assaulted her. Although he initially considered killing her, he immediately decided against it. He would later tell the FBI about this incident. "I was too timid. I wasn't violent enough. I decided I would never let anything like that happen again." This confession illustrated the evolution of Israel's perversions. If you've seen this far and found this content interesting, don't forget to subscribe and like for more content like this. The beginning of military service and serial crime, he joined the military in 1998 and served as an artilleryman for 3 years. His army friends described him as quiet and reserved. On weekends, he drank Wild Turkey whiskey and hung posters of the rap group Insane Clown Posse. He claimed not to have committed any murders during his service, but admitted to attempted sexual assaults in Egypt and Israel. He was arrested for drunk driving in 2001. After being honorably discharged from the military in 2001, he began his killing spree across the United States. According to the FBI, during this period, he committed 11 murders, 20 to 30 burglaries, and several bank robberies. Unlike typical serial killers, he didn't profile his victims by age, gender, or ethnicity. He chose them at random, making it nearly impossible to track them. He kept his cell phone off during his murder trips and paid for everything in cash, which was one of the main reasons he evaded capture for so many years. Murder methods and untraceable traces. Keyes' modus operandi was based on meticulous pre-murder planning. He would prepare murder bags months in advance to carry out his crimes, hiding them in secluded locations. He would turn off his cell phone at the time of the crimes, use cash, and travel interstate by plane or rental car. For example, for the Courier murders, he flew to Chicago and then rented a car 1,000 miles to Vermont. He then used a murder bag he had hidden 2 years earlier to carry out the murders. He was not a gun user. He admitted to enjoying strangulation because he enjoyed watching his victims struggle and lose consciousness. He also claimed not to kill children or families with children because of his young daughter. However, the FBI cast doubt on this claim and suspected he might be responsible for numerous unsolved murders of young people and children, such as the murder of 12-year-old Julie Marie Harris. Confessed victims. After his arrest, Keyes confessed to 3 murders to the FBI. These murders revealed his cold-blooded and ruthless nature. 1. William and Lorraine Currier. In 2011, he abducted and killed the elderly Currier couple in Vermont with a murder kit he had hidden 2 years earlier. The couple's bodies were never found. After shooting Bill, Keyes brutally assaulted and strangled Lorraine. This murder proved his meticulous planning. 2. Samantha Koenig. Keyes' last victim was 18-year-old Samantha, a coffee stand worker in Alaska, in 2012. He abducted, assaulted, and strangled her to death. His most shocking act was applying makeup to her corpse, sewing her eyes shut with fishing line, and taking a photo of her as if she were still alive. He used this photo to extort a $30,000 ransom from her family. He deposited some of the ransom money into Koenig's account and went on a vacation with his family to the Gulf of Mexico. Upon his return, he brutally abused the body, dismembered it, and dumped it in a lake. This brutality proved Keyes' depraved mind. Possible victims and terrifying suspicions. The FBI believes Keyes' killing spree extended much further. He made references to other murders during the interrogation, and suspicions have been raised about some of them. Julie Marie Harris. The case of the 12-year-old girl who disappeared in Washington in 1996 was reopened after Keyes' arrest. Keyes neither confirmed nor denied killing her. Harris's prosthetic legs were found a month after she disappeared. Boca Killer. The Boca Killer, who was charged with 3 crimes in Florida in 2007, is believed to fit Keyes' description. Crimes such as the murder of Randy Ann Malitz-Gorenberg, who was abducted from a Boca Raton shopping mall, and the murder of Nancy Bochicchio and her daughter Joey in their vehicle were consistent with his modus operandi. Deborah Feldman. 48-year-old Deborah Feldman, who disappeared in 2009, was noticed frequently searching her computers. When agents showed her a photo of Feldman, she said, "I don't want to talk about it yet," raising suspicions. James Tidwell Jr., 58-year-old electrician who disappeared in Texas in 2012. Keyes wore a hard hat similar to Tidwell's during a bank robbery, and the hair he described as a wig turned out to be human hair. Keyes committed crimes beyond his murders. He committed bank robberies in New York and Texas, set fire to a Texas house, and burglarized 20 to 30 homes between 2001 and 2012. A serial killer collector. A search of Keyes' home yielded dozens of fiction and non-fiction books about serial killers. He admitted to repeatedly reading Dean Koontz's thriller, Intensity, and identifying with the serial killer character in the book. As a young man, he had closely studied FBI profiler John E. Douglas's Mindhunter. His greatest admiration was for Ted Bundy. He likened himself to him, even imitating his attempt to escape trial. However, he avoided media attention. He feared being labeled a copycat and didn't want his family to suffer. He called remorseful killers like Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, cowards, and admired serial killers who remained uncaught. Keyes openly expressed this obsession, saying, "I know every serial killer I've ever written about. It's kind of a hobby of mine." Last stop and final words. Keyes was caught in Texas using Samantha Koenig's ATM card. Although he initially claimed innocence, he eventually confessed to Koenig's murder. During months of interrogation, he confessed to his other crimes and stated that he wanted to be executed within a year. However, when news about him began to circulate in the media, he stopped cooperating. He even tried to escape by breaking free from his handcuffs during a trial. He committed suicide in his cell on the night of December 1, 2012. The note he left behind, filled with praise for murder, contained no specific information about his other victims. However, the bloody drawings released by the FBI in 2020 added a new dimension to the story. Under his bed were 11 skulls and a pentagram drawn in blood. The words "We are one" were seen as the strongest evidence that Keyes was responsible for a total of 11 murders. Israel Keyes was a cold, methodical, and extremely deliberate monster who broke all serial killer rules. He lived in a secret world for most of his life, taking his secrets to his grave. Even today, we don't know exactly how many people he actually killed. Perhaps, as he wished, it will remain a mystery forever. Do you think the mysteries Israel Keyes left behind can ever be solved? What precautions can be taken to prevent killers like him from being discovered? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like it. See you in another story. Take care. Goodbye.